executive. And with that said, I will let Cindy take over and introduce herself and give you a little bit of history of Starmark as well.
Great. Thanks, Jennifer. Thank you to both of you for your time this afternoon. Again, my name is Cindy Gordon. I'm a senior account executive responsible for working with our managing general agency distribution partners like Shepler Fear. I've been with the company, had my 11th year anniversary, and have been working, with Shepler Fear for about 5 years. So, wanted to talk today a little bit about, and again, I know we had you guys mute your phones, but there's only a couple people on, so let's keep it kind of informal. So if there's something that comes up during my conversation with you, unmute your line and just jump in, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. But before we jump into and the presentation, and I'm not going to go through the presentation in complete detail, but before we do, I wanted to give you a little background on Starmark. Starmark is the small group division of Trustmark companies. We focus solely on self-funded, level-funded products. So that is the only product that we have. We historically have been a fully insured carrier many, many years ago, but exited that market when ACA was looming, basically. So we launched a self-funded, level-funded product for the small group marketplace back in 2007 in just a handful of states, one of them being California. So California has been one of our states from the inception of our self-funded, level-funded product. When we launched the product in the small group market in 2007, again, we just did it in a few states, states that maybe were already community rated or had very narrow rate bands. California is one, Washington, New Jersey was another, there's a handful of others, Colorado. And then with ACA, around 2010, we knew what was going to be happening in 2011, so we launched a similar type self-funded, level-funded product throughout across the country. And obviously in preparation for ACA and establishing ourselves as a self-funded, small group self-funded expert. So that's a little history around our self-funded product, level-funded product that we've had in place for quite some time. The appeal has, from the beginning, has been obviously the main thing is the group, your employer has the opportunity to benefit from a better than expected claims year. So under the fully insured platform, obviously they don't have the potential, regardless of how their plan runs, they can run exceptionally well, and they have no potential for any type of refund or benefiting from a better than expected claims year. The other appeal, so all things being equal, I mean, if you looked at our self-funded underwritten rates compared to what they're paying in the fully insured market, all things being equal, it was still a good move for an employer to look at the self-funded arrangement because they have that potential to get cash back. The other component that was quite appealing and employers were really looking at as a benefit is we do provide pretty detailed reporting to the group. So we let the group know what their claims, what we've been paying as far as claims go out of their claim pre-fund, what their balance is in their claim pre-fund, and then on a quarterly basis, which they've never gotten in the fully insured market, we give them some details on where their dollars are being spent. And we still to this day have that same type of reporting package. So we provide them with information on dollars being spent by type of service, by diagnostic category. We give a breakdown of prescription drug utilization. So really good information that's all HIPAA compliant, obviously, that allows the group to kind of see where their dollars are being spent and sometimes make some benefit changes and adjustments according to what their utilization is. So I think those were a few of the things that were appealing. With self-funding, we're governed by ERISA. We're not governed at the state level. However, a lot of these state mandated benefits are encompassed and covered under our self-funded product. So basically, as far as the product goes, it's a level-funded product. Again, we launched in 2007 and then across the country in 2010, 2011 timeframe. And then I'll get into in a little bit here more recently, we just launched a reference-based pricing product as of 5/1 effective dates and later. The reference-based pricing product is on the same platform as far as self-funding and level funding goes as our Healthy Incentives product has been on or is on. And the same type of reporting and so on and so forth is provided with reference-based pricing. So Jumping back to the healthy incentives, just to give you a level funding, set the basis for the level funding. It's a product that is looked at from a medical standpoint. So we've come up with, actually with the help of Shepler Fear, a good process of assessing the risk of a particular group to determine whether they are a good fit for self-funding or level funding. Regardless of whether it's under healthy incentives or healthy choices, the same process with assessing the risk is used so that you as an agent can educate your employer and say, or your customer and say, this looks like it should be, it's a good opportunity based on the, medical that you have going on with your group, or based on the health risk assessment that we do, it isn't a good opportunity and they should continue to focus on staying in the fully insured market. The health risk assessment is done telephonically more times than not. That's the process that we use. So it's a nice process where the employees just call in, provide their information over the phone, and then once everyone who's eligible for coverage has called in and enrolled or waived, then an underwriter reviews the information and provides the group with rates. We provide a 4-tier rate, just like a group would have seen in the fully insured world. So there's an employee, employee spouse, employee child, and full family. It's composite rated, and the process is pretty smooth. Once we have everybody accounted for, it's usually a couple days before we have some sort of contingent rates to you. So that process is used regardless of the type of product that you're looking at, whether it's our healthy incentives or healthy choices. As far as the surplus goes, so the level funded product has both a specific stop loss and aggregate stop loss. So what the group pays us, their premium they pay us each month, a portion of what they pay us goes into their claim pre-fund, a portion goes towards their administrative costs, and a portion goes towards their stop loss premium. So the product, all of our products, our plan designs come with a specific and aggregate stop loss level. The specific obviously protects the group from one individual having something catastrophic happen. So depending on the stop loss level that's established, we'll just use 10,000 as an example. If a member has claims that reach 10,000, the claim pre-fund dollars pay up to 10,000. Anything after that is paid by Trustmark through their stop loss protection. And then aggregate stop loss is in place for the entire group, so it caps the group's liability dollars-wise for the entire group at the aggregate attachment point. So we establish an aggregate attachment point. Once the group reaches that, or if they reach it, anything above that is paid by Trustmark. So healthy incentives or the new healthy choices functions exactly the same as from a self-funding concept. So from that perspective. The surplus options that Shepler and Fear standardly quotes with our product is the traditional cash 100% surplus option. It is a true runout of 9 or 12 months. I think generally we quote the 9 months. But it's a true, after the 9 months, we do a final accounting of what's left in the claim pre-fund, and the group gets 100% back of what's remaining. We do have some other surplus options available that reduces the amount that the group would receive back, and obviously that does have an impact on the pricing, but it does come with a little bit longer run-out period. So there's some differences, but just so you're aware that generally they quote the traditional cash, but we do have a few other options available. If for some reason we're trying to get to a particular price point, there might be some flexibility in the surplus, and we're able to do that. All right, anything, Jennifer, before I jump into healthy choices that I missed or that you want to comment on?
No, I am good so far. Just wanted to mention Shepler and Fear does have the capability of quoting Starmark's program in-house. We don't have to send out for an RFP, which is nice. If you need a rush proposal, you can certainly ask us for a rush. It does not take us very long to build it into Starmark's system and rate it and get a quote over to you.
Great. Thanks, Jennifer. Okay, so now that I've kind of level set you or explained a little bit about how our product works and how the level self-funded component works. So what's happening now in the industry is we're transitioning into a little bit different methodology as far as our traditional healthy incentives products that we have that has the PPO and CDHP type plans uses the Aetna or Cigna network for provider network. So we contracted that Cigna to have access to their network, and members, they have in and out of network benefits, and the members get paid, the claims get paid based on whether they use a network provider or a non-network provider. So what's happening now is you're seeing a little, or hearing a little more about reference-based pricing in the marketplace. So what Starmark has done is we've launched a product that, again, is on the same platform from the self-funding component. However, it's eliminated the network access piece, and it's priced based on what we're referring to as a reasonable fee. And I'm skipping through a few slides here just to jump to some items that I'm touching on now. So it's a reference-based, a reasonable fee type product, and the way we would determine the reasonable fee is using a percentage of Medicare. So everyone, for the most part, most providers, facilities are obviously familiar with Medicare and how Medicare pays. So what we're doing is we're taking, removing the network piece of it and determining the reasonable fee on the percentage of Medicare. For providers, we're using 150% of Medicare, and for facilities, we're using 175% of Medicare. The main component with this product that we have worked very hard in communicating and continue to is to make sure that the members understand and the employer understands that their employees are not responsible for any amount that we determine above that reasonable fee. So once that reasonable fee is determined based on that percentage of Medicare, if a provider for some reason balance bills a member for an amount above that reasonable fee, that member simply refers that bill to Starmark, and Starmark takes it from there. We're using a vendor called Clear Health. Clear Health has been contracted by Starmark to provide the pricing, Medicare pricing service, and also to handle our negotiations. So what happens is basically if a claim is eligible for balance bill protection, which basically means it just has to be a covered charge, the member is not responsible for an amount above that reasonable fee. In addition to them not being responsible for that fee above the reasonable amount, that amount is not subject to their deductible and coinsurance. So once only the reasonable fee amount is applied towards the deductible and coinsurance for the member, anything above that is obviously not their responsibility, referred to us if they're getting billed, and Clear Health then is involved in negotiating with that provider to either negotiate to the reasonable fee amount that we've determined based on the percentage of Medicare, or some amount close to that. So they basically, the member is basically removed from the equation. Once they notify us and send us that bill, they're removed from the equation. Depending on what's negotiated from Clear Health, anything above that reasonable fee is paid out of the plan dollars, so the claim pre-fund. However, keep in mind, those dollars still apply towards their specific and aggregate stop loss amount. So even though we're paying the dollars above that reasonable fee out of the plan dollars, they still are capped on their liability, and their specific and aggregate stop loss protection still applies to those dollars above the reasonable fee. Let's see. There's a couple of ways that the members can submit the claim, and I won't get into that in too much detail, but they can reach out to Starmark, and they can actually email it to us, they can fax it to us, and then once we have the bill in-house, we then work with Clear Health on negotiating. We've put on the ID card to try to help as much as possible with educating. We've specifically put on the ID card that the claims are paid for physicians at 150% of Medicare, and they're paid at 175% for facilities. We're hoping that that will at least let the provider office know this is how it's paid, since there is no network listed on the ID card. And then what we've also done is taken a step further, and we've put a frequently asked questions document attached to each member's employee's ID card. And that frequently asked questions document has, obviously, questions that are often asked by the provider, and also a phone number for that provider to call if they still have questions on how claims are going to be paid. In addition to the ID card, so before I get into that, the Clear Health that we contracted with, they can get involved on a pre-treatment or a post-treatment basis. So not only are they handling the Medicare pricing for us, but if a member goes to a provider's office and the provider says you need to have a certain procedure or service done, that provider can actually work with Clear Health pre-treatment in determining negotiating a fee or determining that they will accept the Medicare percentage of Medicare allowed. So pre-treatment and then also post-treatment, which we've talked about, where the member gets a bill, the bill is sent to Starmark, and we work with Clear Health on getting negotiations going on a post-treatment basis. Let's see. The other thing, I'm going to skip through a few of these. The explanation of benefits that we have created, we've updated in addition to our AV cards. We've tried to make our explanation of benefits as clear as possible too for the member. The key is to educate the member that if they are getting billed an amount above that reasonable fee, they just need to let us know. So we've done a few things with our explanation of benefits. We've added a column called Other Adjustments, and basically any amount noted in that Other Adjustments column is not their responsibility, and we put notes on there saying if you're getting billed any amount in this column, you need to contact Starmark customer service, and we put the phone number on there. And the next slide, difficult to see, but it shows you that the Other Adjustments column and also the note that we put. Now, keep in mind this is a note that's put on the employee EOB. So we're letting the employee know that if they get a bill for the amount in that column, that they need to reach out to us. Let's see. Oh, why isn't there an H? So we launched our Healthy Choices product. Our Healthy Incentives product has a PPO and a CDHP plan design. We launched this product without technically a CDHP qualified plan, mainly because we feel that there are circumstances where if we pay an amount above that reasonable fee, since it's not subject to the member's deductible and coinsurance, it could, in some cases, not every case, but it could make the plan unqualified. So rather than us come out with a product that we are launching and marketing as a high deductible health plan, qualified plan, we decided to not do that and just launch it as a unqualified, or just not marketing it as a qualified high deductible health plan. You can create the plan to look like a high deductible health plan with the benefit options that we have, but you just need to be aware that depending on what happens with that amount above that reasonable fee, it could make it an unqualified plan. So we are pretty conservative from our compliance standpoint and legal standpoint, and that's the approach that they felt we were best taking, is just simply not marketing it as that, as such. So something may change in the future, not sure, but we'll keep you updated. As of right now, it's just not marketed as that. Marketing resources, so just to let you know, and Jennifer, her team, they have access to all of our marketing resources. We have a great toolkit out there that talks about our Healthy Choices product that we can get you a link and you can look at, but otherwise Jennifer and her team have some great resources out there. Few things about the reference-based price product. You know, we did a lot of research in the beginning with working with Clear Health and coming up with what level of or percentage of Medicare we feel would be sufficient, and we feel will have the least amount of noise or balanced bill situations. And they really helped us come up with this 150 and 175. And that's based on their experience historically with Medicare pricing and also with their experience with negotiating non-network claims. So Clear Health has been negotiating non-network claims not only for us, but for other carriers for many years. And they really felt that from a market standpoint, that these levels would be pretty receptive and acceptable to most providers. The other thing that Clear Health will do with a provider is they will use information they have on if a provider has questions about how they're being paid. Clear Health has indicated that most providers, once they're educated on, first of all, they're getting paid based on a percentage of Medicare, but how that compares to what they would be getting paid under like a Cigna or Aetna type network. And once they're educated on how that percentage translates into a network contract discount that they've already got in place, a lot of times it's very close to or even sometimes better than what they're getting paid under a contract. So they have a lot of tools Clearhouse has a lot of tools available to them to help educate providers so that we don't have resistance to the methodology that we're using. So that is about the 1,500 or 3,000 foot level overview of self-funding with Starmark and also our Healthy Choices product that we just launched. I guess I can open it up to questions right now, Jennifer, or if you have anything you want to interject.
I do want to interject a few things. If either of you want to learn more about reference-based pricing, go to our website. I believe last week's webinar was on reference-based pricing, and we have a recording of that there for reference-based pricing and a general overview. I will say from a marketing standpoint or a rating standpoint, I've seen the rates on the reference-based pricing all over the state of California and other parts of the country, and they are looking really, really strong, and it's a good price alternative to using the Cigna or the Aetna networks. The nice thing about Starmark, when we go to medical underwriting, your employer does not have to have that plan in place. They don't have to decide if they want to have reference-based pricing or a network. They don't have to make any decisions on how their plan is designed. They just need to go through the health risk assessment, and then if everything looks good, we proceed from there from building a plan. So it makes it really nice and easy. And my experience over the last 5 years, once everybody's called and done their health risk assessment interview over the phone, Starmark's underwriters are pretty quick, and typically they have the contingent offer to me the next day. They say 2 business days, but I typically get it the next business day. They are very quick, and they know, this needs to be done on a timely basis. And then one last thing I wanted to interject. This is not the first time we've seen reference-based pricing come out. Allied came out with their product a few years ago. In my eyes, it wasn't largely successful. Tony, I know you use Allied, so I'm not sure what your opinion is on it. They used a lower pricing, $125 and $150, and I believe they negotiated their own balance billing. And typically, whenever I wrote a group on it, I would get a handful of calls right off the bat with a provider not letting somebody in through the front door, and usually it was the owner or the owner's wife.
Yeah, that makes sense. I agree with that. That's what we were finding in our with our book as well.
Yeah, but I think the market is now ready to hear more about reference-based pricing. I think people are wanting these options, and I think it is the wave of the future going forward. But again, we do have a more general overview of reference-based pricing on our website if you guys want to go listen to that. Otherwise, I will say that Starmark is, personally, I'm very prejudiced with them. They're my favorite carrier. I have no problem saying that, and it's not just because Cindy's on the phone. They listen to their MGAs, they listen to their brokers, and they will take action if necessary. It's not like getting lost when you call Blue Shield and, you're just waiting to see who you get a hold of to help you do anything. We have a dedicated team back at Starmark, along with an account manager once a group goes active, that not only I can use, but she'll talk to my brokers for me as well if I'm not available. So Starmark, we love them. We just were at their MGA meeting last month, and they have regular advisory panels from their MGAs to know how they're doing. So they're a great company to work with. And I'll stop my rambling now and see if Tony or Tom, if either of you have questions.
Not me. Excellent presentation. Thanks.
I agree. Really good, valuable information on your end. Thank you.
Good. Well, let me know, and Jennifer knows how to get a hold of me, and she can share my information, my contact information with both of you as well. And if anything comes up that you have questions on, feel free to reach out. I'm more than happy to help out.
Yeah, I did have one question, though. What type of pushback are you getting from providers? Is there an overall general percentage that are balance billing these members that Starmark need to get involved in to negotiate? or so far so good, it's ultimately successful? I know that I've seen this product, and the rates you can't compete with, so it really makes sense. So you do see the industry kind of navigating toward the reference-based pricing. But a big concern or fear from employers, especially the larger employers, is we don't want to be involved in this, and we know the first level of really defense is going to the employer before they come to either us or Starmark. So what are you seeing?
Yeah, so we're seeing so far that the education that we're doing is really working. Providing information at that ID card level to the members kind of gives them that first point of contact, and they can share that information with the provider. So we're seeing some good results with members knowing who they need to go to. So hopefully eliminate them from just walking into their employer's office and saying, look, I'm getting this bill. We're really trying to provide them with some tools so that to eliminate that. And so far, we feel like it's been pretty effective. The other thing that we did in launching this product is from what Jennifer talked about compared to other carriers that have a similar product, is we did bump that percentage of Medicare up, you know, on the physician side and on the facility side. And that's because we've learned from Clear Health, who's been doing this for a while, that the noise level at even the other level was manageable, but at this level we think it's going to be very minimal. So, you know, it's you know, a newer product to us, but so far we're seeing some really good results from it.
Excellent.
Yeah, and we really want to make sure that that member knows who they need to go to, and make it clear to that member that once they notify us and supply us with that balance bill, we take it from there. Their responsibility is done. And you know, we even send out another explanation of benefits once Clear Health has done the negotiations. If there is a balance bill situation, we send the member another EOB saying, here's the additional payment that was made, and this has been closed out, and you shouldn't receive any other additional bills.
Nice.
All right, any other questions? No? Okay, Jennifer, anything else you want to add before we wrap up?
Nope. If anybody has any additional questions, just send an email to me if you have my email, or it's just jenmason@sheplerfear.com or insurance@sheplerfear.com. Like I said, we can turn around quote requests fairly quickly. Just need your standard, you know, census in Excel and the group's current renewal. Cindy did mention earlier on in her call that Starmark is for small and mid-sized groups. In California, we do have some limitation on small groups in writing self-funding, but every case is a case-by-case situation, and we will be able to recommend some options for your group. Lastly, I want to say Starmark is one of the few carriers that I know of that will run alongside of Kaiser and WHA, Sutter, and Sharp down in Southern California and not count those members against participation. So really good solution if you've got a group of, let's say 150 and 125 are on Kaiser, and you've got 25 people that are either demanding a PPO or they're not in the Kaiser service area. This is a great solution. All right, and with that said, I think we will wrap it up, and hope you join us for our next week's webinar, whose topic escapes me at the moment, so forgive me, but we will send out a notice. And we will make this webinar available on our website as well.
Nice. Thanks, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.